we're going to explore modifying the content that we now have in our Keynote slide. So I have a table here that I have called test. Now if you press on that table, it is going to highlight the entire table and give you several options. So if you would like to delete the table, you just tap on the whole table once and you can delete it. You'll notice you can cut, copy, paste, or animate. We are not going to get into the animation of any of these pieces right now. That's more of a presentation side, but we are going to look at how to modify the content in this table. So if I have a class and they are collecting data, again, I double click in a cell and I can change that. So let's say that this is, I'm just going to put number. And you'll notice when I type that in, all I see now is num, because the size of the font in that cell box is a little bit too big. I can do one of two things. I can push on the B and change the actual size of that cell by grabbing the two lines at the top, or I can highlight the cell and go to my paintbrush. Anytime you are working within Keynote, the paintbrush is where you will go to your formatting options, whether it's a cell, a photo, a text, or a chart, in order to change things. So you'll see that right now I have several options in the table. I can change and add a table name. I can take the table name away. I can change the color and style of the table. I can add grid options. I can change the font and font size. Now right here, if I press the minus, you'll see that number is becoming apparent because it is shrinking the size of that font. If I increase it, it goes back up to what it was. That is for the table completely. So if I change table options, that will change everything in the table. If I change just that cell, you'll see that if I do this, it does the exact same thing, and this will only apply to this cell. So if I change the font to noteworthy, you'll see it did not change the word test. It only changed in this cell. I can also manipulate and make it center. I can put it at the top, bottom. I can wrap the text in the cell. I can change the color of the cell fill, so I can make this one yellow. You can also do some formatting options. Now this is if you have a specific type of table you are working with. You can change it to a number, date and time, a text, a percentage, and then finally your arrangement options. The one thing that's here is lock. Now if you lock this table, it is going to stop all changes to it, including adding information. So although it's nice that you can lock it into a location, if you need students or you need to add information, it will prevent that from happening because that is considered an editing of the table. The other thing you can do with the table is add cells or rows as needed. You can add a column, you can add a row. You can also delete columns or rows. So let's say that this one I need to delete. I just tapped on the 5. I can delete this here, and I've completely eliminated that from the table itself. The other thing, again, your paintbrush, you have different options that you can go to make the changes for the table. Now when I go to my chart, I'm going to go up to my paintbrush, and you'll see that I have my chart information. Again, this applies to every part of the chart. Here's where I can change the chart type, the value labels, the font size. I can add a title. I can change what it looks like. The x-axis and y-axis, I can change major things on there that I would need. And finally, I have arrangement, which again, I can move it to the front or the back. You'll notice that this one is all the way to the front because I added it after the table. So if I added it after the table, it would be over it, but you would want to space it so that you don't have that issue or that problem. Now, if you want to add data to the chart, you'll notice that right here it doesn't have any options for you to add your data. So what you need to do is highlight the chart, just tap on it once. You can edit your data points. It will flip out the chart, and now you can change this to be whatever you would like it to be. You'll notice that there is a gear in the upper left-hand corner for your settings, and this is where you can switch the way that it is plotted. So you can plot the row as a series or the column as a series. You can choose Done,